Welcome back to NTheRealestWay Podcast by Marqes Smith, where we talk about so many topics in the realest way. On this podcast episode, I want to talk about the importance of how much are you willing to lose in terms of almost everything in life. And I want to start it off by saying, regardless of whatever you decide to do in life, you are willing to lose something to gain something else in return. To always want something, you have to give something else in return. And the main thing I want to talk about is how much are you willing to lose? How much are you willing to sacrifice for greatness in the life that you want? In terms of discipline, in terms of almost everything. You say you want discipline, and I'm speaking for myself too. We say we want discipline, but we always go for that instant gratification. For instant gratification. We say we want to be, have more control over what we eat. Well, how are we going to do that? Everything needs to have a intention behind it. And how much are you willing to lose? Are you willing to not eat those unhealthy foods all the time and have some kind of way of maintaining and allowing certain amount of food intake throughout your day? How much are you willing to lose for that instant gratification, for that instant pleasure, for something else that's going to be more rewarding in the future? I've listened to so many people talk about these topics, and the main thing that came back was the amount of uncomfortability that they had going through this process of gaining more discipline, gaining more control, and how much they were willing to lose in order to gain that self-control. And when they all came down to it, when they looked back, they saw how much they gained because of it. Yes, they didn't get that instant gratification, but they got the longevity, the long-lasting results of what they decided to do. The people I see on the internet posting about the workouts and the gyms and stuff, the discipline they have, the control, no matter how much they want to stay inside and stay sleeping or watch a TV show or go to the movies or anything that was more of a gratification and more of a self-pleasure thing, they were willing to lose all of that to gain something more rewarding in their eyes. And I understand everybody has different goals in life. They have different ways of living. Some people believe that just living is enough. They don't want to really work that hard. Do whatever you believe that you should do in this life. There's nobody that can tell you how your life should go besides you. You, God, the universe, whatever you believe in, you all have something. They all have something. And whatever your purpose is in life is for you and for you only. But in terms of the people who find greatness and are willing to lose the certain things that are keeping them back, those are the people who are going to achieve so much greatness in this world. And of course, doing a big thing, achieving something really big in life does not make you, it doesn't have to equate for you being a great person. You can be working at McDonald's and be a great person. It's just all about your purpose and what you believe your level of success and what you want out of life should be. Me, I strive for greatness, and I always find myself always bettering myself. Whatever way, I'm always doing something to better me. And in doing that, it has become hard. It has become something that I struggle with because sometimes I'm not willing to lose certain things. Sometimes I lie to myself and I procrastinate and I tell myself that these things aren't worth being lost over, or that I can have both. You can't have both. To give something in return, you have to, how do I say this? If you want something in return, you have to give something in return. Go back to the gym. If you want the body that you want, you staying home and laying in the bed all day is not going to give you that. You have to lose all that time that you're spending laying in your bed and give it to going to the gym and being consistent and being diligent with what you're doing. To get something in return, you have to give something. It's life. A energy transference of this for that, this for that. But I'm telling you, if you want a level of success in your life, if you want to achieve something in your life, you have to be willing to lose something else in return. And that could be good or bad. It can be used in any instant, but you have to be able and willing to lose something to gain something else in return. And sometimes that could be a bad thing, because sometimes we don't realize what good we have until it's gone. You were so bent on getting this thing that you developed in your head, that once you got it, it was nothing that you expected. And it was worse than what you had before. You actually become grateful for what you had before, and you didn't even realize it. The whole saying of the grass isn't always greener on the other side, it perfectly depicts this whole conversation about you think that this is something until it's not what you expected. So it's important to understand that, yes, you have to be willing to lose something, but also understand that you losing something to gain something else, it may not have been what you wanted. And you're going to experience that in life. There's going to be plenty of times where you realize you made a mistake and it wasn't actually what you wanted. But like I tell people before, throughout my friends and talking to them, that the pain and the mistakes that you make, find some way to not find enjoyment out of it, but find some way to learn from it. Find some way to find meaning out of everything that you went through. I had this bad day. I had this bad season in my life, but what did I get out of it? What did I learn? This person hurt me. They treated me poorly. Okay, what did I learn from this? I learned more about self-respect, having boundaries. I learned what I don't like and how people treat me. Take something from it. Don't ever leave a situation without getting anything in return. Anything purposeful, full of life and full of, get something from that. How much are you willing to lose? I asked myself that, and I thought about how sometimes I find myself trading on water, and that there was this TikTok I found about the issue about spending money and that you're losing money. And this lady on the podcast said, you're never losing money. You're gaining something that you're trading in return of value. You're never losing money. So when I thought about investing into this podcast, I was thinking, I don't want to give my all, because I don't want to have spent all this money on this podcast equipment, all this time on this podcast, and it doesn't have some kind of success. And listening to her and listening and keep going through life, and this whole podcast episode specifically about how much are you willing to lose? How much am I willing to give to this podcast, to myself, to honing it, and to become something that is amazing? How much am I willing to lose? I asked myself that, and that's when I really became more sure of what I needed to do in the realest way. I wanted something meaningful, and I know that when in terms of finding something meaningful, we have to take that step, and it may be uncomfortable, but we have to take that step. So I had to find myself in a conversation to myself about how much am I willing to lose to gain something else. I just felt like this podcast episode, it needed to be said, and I'm glad that I'm able to speak about so many topics in the realest way. I'm thankful for just being here and being able to just do everything that God has given me the ability to do. And I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. Like I was saying in the podcast, there is equipment coming. There's podcast equipment coming. I'm so happy about that. I know that this is going to be an amazing, amazing experience. I find myself sometimes exhausted and tired, but I know that everything will be okay in the end, because I'm serving God in the realest way, and I'm going through life in the realest way. And I know that these experiences are important, and that there's always some value in taking this stuff. Like I say at the end of every podcast episode, I give thanks to the utmost, the highest power, God. I'm thankful for my friends and my family. I'm thankful for the listeners of this podcast. I'm truly, truly grateful. This is NTheRealestWay Podcast. Out. Hello, this is future Marqes Smith here. I wanted to apologize for the shortness of this podcast episode. I'm still dealing with the issues of my mouth in terms of like me getting my wisdom teeth taken out. I'm still healing from that, but I promise you in the future I will be bigger and better. Again, I want to say thank you for all of the listeners and everybody listening to this podcast. I promise you there will be bigger and better things coming in the future. Just be patient with me. I'm so grateful for the patience and the love that I've gotten. Thank you.